Good morning, afternoon or evening, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update on this triumphant Tuesday with yours truly. Today, we particularly have quite a lot to get into. Yesterday, we looked at the volatile nature this week is likely to embody based on the likes of the company earnings that we're really seeing kick off today. I think it was Ford Motor was the only sort of big one yesterday. We've got some of the largest companies in the world's earnings coming out this week. We've got non-farm payroll on Friday. We also have tomorrow the UK budget. So we're going to get a very volatile week. And we did speculate based on how the markets were technically setting up that actually it was quite likely to be a good week and a good couple of weeks, certainly going into the election. Technically, we can kind of calm some of our nerves, even though we're expecting volatility in regards to the broader direction we think the space is heading in broadly. And that's where I want to start. But today, we've got a hell of a lot to get into. We're going to be looking at an interview, probably one of the most bullish CNBC interviews that I've ever seen in my life. So VanEck's Matthew Siegel appeared on CNBC talking about Bitcoin's outlook for 2025 and beyond. Very interesting what he has to say. He also talks about the BRICS nations now potentially mining and operating in Bitcoin. Remember, we have said that Bitcoin is going to be a matter of national security. And we're seeing within the United States, we had Emory University declaring $15.8 million worth of Bitcoin. We're seeing more and more individuals actually or more and more of America get embedded with Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin becomes a matter of national security. And we have some unbelievable crypto miners that we think are... We've got one crypto miner that I actually think is going to get into the sort of 1890x range, potentially. We've got a smaller target that's very conservative, and then we've got a bigger one. Do become a Patreon, you'll unlock that. You'll unlock my entire portfolio. We don't get everything right, but we certainly try our best, and we're very, I believe, well positioned in the cryptocurrency space, certainly in the mining sector. Do consider becoming a Patreon and checking that out and following along. Majority of Patrons are on board with that trade. But as Bitcoin becomes more and more of a kind of embedded asset in the world, it's going to become a kind of arms race in relation to the maintaining of it. We're then going to be looking at some news from Larry Fink talking about forward guidance on monetary policy, which of course is going to drive the markets broadly. And then we'll be hearing from Brian Armstrong. But to kick things off, guys, Bitcoin is breaking through. And I was going to bust into song there, but I'm not. You guys know the score. We've done and we continue to do in these daily market updates a lot of technical homework in regards to Bitcoin. Whether that be the broader cup and handle. It's very common when you take a high, you pull back before you see continuation. Whether that be this inverse head and shoulders that takes you to 151k, whether that be the bull flag that takes you 130. Obviously, the cup and handle, there was a smaller pattern within this flag that ultimately we said is going to take you to 84k. We looked at this going into FOMC. It's very much playing out in the exact manner that we expected it to. And in regards to this flag that Bitcoin has been in, we are breaking free. And it's beautiful to see. A little bit of poetry there. And it wasn't going to be long. You keep tapping on the ceiling. Eventually, you were going to find the hatch. And I believe Bitcoin today has found that hatch. The next leg, everything that we've prophesized is upon us. Let's take a look at the total 2. Also breaking out. Breakout, retest, continuation. Also, this is the total market cap. Total 2. Getting there. Total 3. Well and truly there. Others there also. Get ready for an amazing time in the markets. Not just crypto, but more broadly. Got some amazing interviews coming up for you guys in the week ahead. Let us now dive into a clip from CNBC, and I'll fast forward it a little bit or speed it up a little bit, of VanEck's Matthew Siegel talking about Bitcoin. What a bullish outlook this predicts. And then we are going to be sort of relating this to our analysis and miners more broadly. And talking about Larry Fink, etc., etc. So let's dive into this, guys. Jam-packed one as always. If you haven't watched yesterday's video preparing you for the week ahead, do go and do so. Let's dive into this, ladies and gents.
You think it's going to be a $100,000 asset soon, 200. Yes, our bet is that this is a very bullish setup for Bitcoin into the election. We saw the exact same pattern in 2020 where Bitcoin lagged with low volatility. And then once a winner was announced, we had a high vol rally as new buyers come into this market. And that's the great thing about Bitcoin is that every day there's new buyers being born. It's kind of like the video game industry. The olds who hate it die off. The new folks are buying it. And what we think is that once the election result is finalized, Moody's is going to downgrade U.S. sovereign debt. And that could be a catalyst for Bitcoin to catch up.
Doesn't gold correlate with the dollar and with M2 as well? And gold and Bitcoin seemed like the correlation broke down a couple of times recently.
Bitcoin is a chameleon. Its correlations change over time. It's hard to predict what it's going to be correlated with over the short term, over the long term.
But you really say it's because of the 21 million and it's fixed amount is out there, therefore the debasement of the currency favors that. I mean, that's...
Yeah, it's a non-U.S. asset. It's an emerging markets asset. And while we were all hyperventilating about the election over the last week, BRICS had a conference in Russia. There's 6 new members of BRICS this year. So BRICS GDP is now greater than the combined GDP of G7. Of the 6 new members, 3 of them, Argentina, the UAE, and Ethiopia, are now mining Bitcoin with government resources. So there's tremendous urgency outside of the U.S. to find a way to circumvent the irresponsible fiscal policy that we've been running here in the U.S. In fact, Russia announced an initiative. Their sovereign wealth fund is going to invest in a regional initiative to build Bitcoin mining and AI infrastructure throughout BRICS with an idea of settling global trade in Bitcoin. So, look, someday, I don't know if it's 5 years, 10 years, Putin's going to die. We're going to look to reintegrate some of these countries into the world financial system, and they're going to be trading with Bitcoin. What are we going to be doing?
Okay. What? Yeah? Are you stunned?
No, I'm just processing.
You're processing.
Processing.
When will that be complete?
The processing?
Yes, so that you can make a comment.
When is Bitcoin going to be complete?
I have no idea. He sounds what you think it's going to be a $100,000 asset soon, 200.
Yes. The smallest ever trough to peak rally for a Bitcoin cycle was 2,000%. If we do half of that, that'd be 1,000%. That'd be roughly 180,000.
When does this all go down? Not down. When does this happen?
When did it all happen?
I think after the election will be a significant catalyst. You can see it front page of the Wall Street Journal talking about debt and deficit concerns. Right. Like Moody's is telegraphing this. Right. They want to downgrade sovereigns who have 20.
Like Cathie Woods.
What's that?
Like Cathie Wood.
My old boss?
Yeah. How do you feel about her predictions?
I don't think about them very much.
I mean, do you think she's right? 500,000 is where she's at. By very soon.
We have a model that assumes that by 2050, this is very long term, that Bitcoin becomes a reserve asset that's used in global trade and held by global central banks at a very modest 2% weight. And in that model, we arrive at a $3 million price target for Bitcoin. Now, that sounds extreme, but that's a 16% compound annual growth rate for a couple decades. That's not really that extreme. So into the millions over the medium term is a high conviction call.
Woo! Are you fired up, ladies and gentlemen? And that's what people often get really downtrodden, really disheartened. But boy, oh boy, have we got an opportunity in front of us. And Bitcoin is literally verging on the start of that next leg. All prophesized here on Allincrypto. Hang in there, guys. You shall be rewarded. It is MicroStrategy. Interesting comment. A leader of Bitcoin. This is nearly our target that we had from all the way down here. S&P embarking on that similar journey to its target. US 100, etc., etc., etc. Nvidia, Bitcoin. Get ready, guys. And some really interesting things said there. I think one interesting thing for me is my theory on Bitcoin becoming a matter of national security and the nationalization without the actual nationalization of Bitcoin miners. Get in the Patreon. Even if you want to join it for a month and unlock that altcoin, or those mining stocks on my altcoins, it's up to you guys. We got a really good retention rate and we plan on keeping that. But we, again, see literally everyone, and this is Eric Balanchunas, highlighting advisors, pension funds, PE, holding companies, VCs, trust, family offices, brokerage, and now universities, government agencies, investment companies, hedge funds. Everybody holds Bitcoin now, and it becomes a matter of national security. And this is only going to really see continuation. On the topic of breaking out, we also broke out of some of the few people that even do any analysis or bother to do analysis on digital large caps. This was a breakout. And it's now on that broader journey. And we're predicting the same thing for Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund, which tracks altcoins as we were GBTC, which got to our target. And look at this popping up as well. Pullback's over, guys. And we're about to embark on that next leg. And the big picture for Bitcoin is an exceptionally bullish one outlined there by VanEck. I don't know what he is. Is he the Chief Digital Strategy Officer? Let's now dive into a clip of Larry Fink talking about interest rate cuts, monetary policy, which is ultimately the driver of liquidity through currency and thus markets.
Before the Fed finishes this year, would you expect a 25 basis point rate cut or a 50 basis point, or you don't know?
I think it's fair to say we're going to have at least a 25, but that being said, I do believe we have greater embedded inflation in the world than we've ever seen. We have government and policy that is much more inflationary, whether it's immigration, excuse me, our policies of onshoring. All of this, no one is asking the question at what cost. Right. Historically, we were, I would say, a more consumer-driven economy, that the cheapest products were the best, the most a progressive way of politicking. Today, I think we have governmental policies that are embedded inflationary, and with that being said, I think we're not going to see interest rates as low as some people are forecasting.
I think largely that dollar strength's on the back end of that, on the back end of non-farm payroll. The last one really is dollar strength. Markets have largely shook it up because they know what's coming ultimately. A little bit of Coinbase news. So Brian Armstrong, the next SEC chair, should withdraw all frivolous cases and issue an apology to the American people. It would not undo the damage done to the country, but it would be the start, the process of restoring trust in the SEC as an institute. Remember, with the next president, if it's Trump or Biden, you're very likely to see Gary Gensler out the door, which is what we all want here. It's an amazing time to be alive. We're going through a global monetary change, and it's an amazing time to be in the cryptocurrency space. It's an amazing time to be a subscriber of All in Crypto, your one-stop shop when it comes to the cryptocurrency space. We are expanding our team, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be announced very soon, and all the things that are going to come out of that. So do hit that subscribe button. We will be doing a giveaway, a charitable event, when we get to that 100,000 subs. That's it from me, ladies and gents. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Bullish, bullish, bullish. I'll see you all in the next one.